So Ed, if you look at this in terms of trying to put a well-sanded fingertip on what is animating China now and thus pushing it in a certain direction, what do you come up with?
I mean, I think that one of the things that distinguishes the way we look at China now, and also covering China in the last few years from previous decades, is the fact that China's entered this digital age where information moves very fast. And I think that even while I was there was a huge change between 2008 and 2010, in that these microblogs became very popular. And I think there was a forum here earlier that discussed this issue, but I think that these microblogs basically gave correspondents a sense of what would become sort of hot topics or conversations among a certain class of Chinese. I'm not saying peasants aren't necessarily out there blogging on Weibo accounts, but there's a lot of elites who are people with millions of followers, like friends of ours, who write about what irks them about what's going on. They write about what annoys them about party rule, certain aspects of party rule, and then when a social issue comes up, then there's sort of like a consensus that forms on the internet about what needs to be done. And I think that through this prism, you get a sense of some of the what people are satisfied with and what people are not satisfied with. And it doesn't show that there's a revolution brewing, but I think it points to what Joe's talking about, which is that there's a creep that goes on, which is about that information does open up. There's a lot of controls on these microblogs, and the party can use them in certain ways to strengthen its rule. It gives the party windows onto how people are thinking. The party can try and shape propaganda. Officials can try and shape their message by getting out there. But the problem is that, as Seymour pointed out, that a lot of these officials still aren't that good with social media. They're not quick enough. They don't react quickly enough to it, and their ways of information control are still antiquated. And so you're having this sort of information explosion that's going out there that in a way results in certain aspects of democratization. Like, there's certain aspects of democracy at work, even though they're not sort of fundamentally what we would call democracy. There's no multi-party elections, but there are more voices out there. And then when certain issues come up, like there are dismissals of officials, there are changes made to certain issues if there's enough momentum built up, if there's enough criticism built up on the internet over some of these issues.